So the opportunities today, this is kind of what brought me here because it's September 18th today, September 18th. We're heading into the fall after the halving, which has historically seen some pretty significant jumps in terms of the fiat price of Bitcoin. And I think that there's a lot of people, including myself, who are getting a little bit run down. And we have to understand here where we are. We have to understand that in 2021, almost 4 years ago, the price was the same as it is today. The fiat price, which is pretty much how people measure everything, right? That's our main perception around Bitcoin is the fiat price. That's how we judge how well it's performing, which we shouldn't be. I think that adoption rate and hash rate are much more important metrics than fiat price. But that's kind of where we are right now. We're at a point in this cycle where we've just gone from 3.5 years of pretty much going down, slowly coming up, but being around the same spot, which is very frustrating when you spend every single day in Bitcoin, talking about Bitcoin, looking at the price, trying to find something to be, trying to get that feeling of like we're going up here, like we thought we were going to go. And we just have to understand that that's where we are right now. And on the other side of that is going to be mayhem. So if you're somebody in Bitcoin who's feeling that right now, like kind of not let down, but frustrated, why are we at 58K, 59K, 60K? Why have we been here forever? You have to understand that that's where we are in the cycle now. It's nothing new. And I think that this cycle is going to be much bigger than anybody can even imagine because of the ETFs, because now the big money's here. So just understand that that's where we are and understand that the opportunities here are coming. And that's not just for the fiat price. There's no opportunity really in just having Bitcoin. Yeah, you have to do things with it. You have to earn Bitcoin. You have to build a network around Bitcoin. You have to take your time and your energy from that system and put it fully into Bitcoin. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about today in terms of like a call to action almost, is that if you've been in Bitcoin for a little while now, if you just got here, this might not be as applicable to you right now, but if you've been in Bitcoin for a while, now is the time where you need to really dial this thing in. Your security process, your earning of Bitcoin, you have to be finding ways to earn Bitcoin and growing your Bitcoin network. That's where we are right now. And I think that I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it was with a guy that works at Elby. And he said how lucky he was to get a job and how few Bitcoin jobs there are out there because of and I thought it's because we are where we are in the cycle right now. All of these Bitcoin companies, instead of hiring people, instead of trying to grow too fast or spending their reserves, they've been holding it in Bitcoin. And within the next 6 months to a year, that Bitcoin is going to be worth 2x, 3x, 5x. Who knows? But they're going to have a lot more leverage. They're going to have a lot more ability to spend money. And so they're going to be hiring. Also within that, there's going to be smaller businesses who have been holding Bitcoin that we don't even really know about. And all of a sudden, they're going to have a lot more reserve there. They're going to have a lot more ability to hire people. That's kind of what we're missing right now, is we're at the end of this cycle. People are waiting for it to jump up. So they're holding on tight to their Bitcoin. And then once it starts to move, they're going to either sell some of that or start hiring different people and paying them in Bitcoin to help push their business forward, because they're, especially businesses built in Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin focused companies who are selling products, exchanges, devices, anything around Bitcoin right now. If you're a business in Bitcoin, your leverage and your total net worth is going to explode over this next year. So people are going to be looking for help. They're going to be hiring. They're going to now have the ability that they've been storing for the last couple of years. They're going to be putting that to use to grow their company or just to keep up with the demand for it. So if you are somebody right now who's been in Bitcoin for a few years, listening to podcasts, really diving down the rabbit hole here, I want you to understand how much knowledge you have and how much that's going to be worth Not so much today. It is worth a lot today, but you just don't have the people who are willing to pay you for that yet. But that knowledge is invaluable right now. So pretty much what I wanted to get out of this is that if you are somebody who's been here for a while, I want you to really just dive into it. Truly. Into the knowledge, into the network, finding ways to earn Bitcoin. Now is the time to be really dialing in on this thing. And so that's just the Bitcoin companies, but you also have to understand that every company on earth right now, when they see the price move and they see Michael Saylor's and Semler Scientifics and Metaplanets, when they see the strategy working for them and how much they've accrued, Saylor talked about this at the very start of the show yesterday, but he said that the market cap of MicroStrategy, when they started the Bitcoin strategy, was 1.2 billion. Their market cap today, after one Bitcoin cycle, is 25 billion. So that's a 20x in 4 years. And so every single company, especially, I mean, the public companies are a little bit different. There's a lot more hoops to jump through there in terms of adopting the same strategy. But small businesses, business owners are smart people, and they're going to see that. And they're going to say, okay, he's buying Bitcoin. He's putting it on the reserve. He's increased his company's worth, the value, by 20x in 4 years. We need to do something like this. Our cash in the bank account is buying less and less every year. And so every company on earth is going to come to this realization, and they're going to be hiring people like me, like you, as their Bitcoin head of Bitcoin strategy. Think about how many companies are out there who are going to be doing this. I know it's easy to think in day to day and only see what's in front of us here. And that can be frustrating and kind of feel like you're running in circles a bit. But you have to understand where this is going, not too far away. So Bitcoin companies are going to be hiring. Companies who already hold Bitcoin are going to be hiring. Companies who don't have Bitcoin yet are going to be hiring somebody to help them with Bitcoin. Plus the network. The network's a big one. All of a sudden you're going to have a bunch of Bitcoiners here. I'm going to use our Living the Future community as an example. There's going to be people in there who have been thinking about this for a year or two now. They've been wanting to start a business, but they've been holding on to their Bitcoin instead. And so all of a sudden they see their net worth double, triple, 5x, and they're going to start a business, and they're going to be looking for people to partner up with. If you have a skill that I don't have, I'm going to want to work with you. And because we're both Bitcoiners, we're going to know that we have that in common. And we're going to be working towards an underlying goal there together. So what you need to be doing is looking for these opportunities, preparing yourself for it and looking for these opportunities, because they are coming and we're not too far away from that. So what I would challenge you to do today is two things. Number one, make damn sure that whatever Bitcoin you have right now is well protected. If you've been thinking about it, if you've been thinking about getting a cold card, a Jade, a passport, if you've been putting that off, if you've been putting off getting help from people for it to get it set up, do that now. And take it one step further and make sure that if something were to happen to you tomorrow, your family's going to know what to do with your Bitcoin. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. It's probably about a 6-month process, I would say, in terms of setting that all up. It takes time, it takes some money, it takes some energy to do that. And a lot of people don't really have that right now. So take it slow, take it over 6 months. But the one thing that you can do today is just create a 1-page document. Do this today. I'm serious. Because there are going to be people in the world, and there might even be people who watch the show, where something's going to happen to them. And they've just been putting it off because that's what we do as humans. We just procrastinate unless anything's urgent. And something's going to happen, and their family's going to have no clue what to do with their Bitcoin. And that's such a waste of life. It really is. Because the whole point of this is we want to take our time, energy, capital, store it in a very, very powerful battery. But if nobody can get access to that, then it's going to sit there forever, which is a complete waste. So get a one-page document. Write down, if something were to happen to me today, this is what you do. This is where to look. This is the process of it. Take it one step further and actually walk them through it. But in terms of just doing the lowest hanging thing here that you can without any sort of friction, just create a one-page document. And if you want to, I've said this several times on the show before, but just say, if something were to happen to me, email Jor 88sats@proton.me. He'll be able to help you. And then right underneath that, in bold, maybe all caps, say, under no circumstances is he, or whoever you're asking to help, but we're going to use me as an example here. Under no circumstances is he ever going to need access to your private code, the private key, 12 words. These are the 12 words. Under no circumstances will he ever need these, or anybody else. If anybody asks for these, they're trying to rip you off, so run away. So tell people where they can get help from, but make sure to clarify the fact that whoever's helping them, they will never need their private key. They can help without the private key. So that's one. That's a call to action. Do that today, because you're going to regret it. And you never know what's going to happen. This life's fucking crazy. So don't put it off any longer. That's number one. Number two is keep at it. Keep learning as many different topics as you can within Bitcoin. If you want to really dial in, if you're very interested in a certain subset of Bitcoin, like mining, like Bitcoin strategy, like helping businesses get set up either as a reserve or to accept Bitcoin. If you want to dial in on something, that's fine. But you can just be a generalist too within Bitcoin. So really dial in on that and find yourself a network. Because when this happens and the networks have already been formed and you're trying to get into it, whether that's on Nostr, whether that's a community like Living the Future, you're going to have, you need some time in there. Just like Bitcoin, you need some proof of work. You're not going to join a network and all of a sudden people are going to want to work with you. You have to join them now. You have to get a rapport for yourself. You have to add value to people, and you have to position yourself in a way where if the opportunity is there, people are going to reach out to you. And you have to put yourself in those positions if you want to, right? This is the assumption that you're wanting to earn Bitcoin. You're wanting to work with a Bitcoin company. You're wanting to help other businesses get set up with Bitcoin and hold their reserves in Bitcoin. Assuming that, if that's not of any interest to you, then ignore this. And to build businesses in Bitcoin and to start different ventures. If that's what you want, make sure you join some sort of network or community within Bitcoin. There's the Orange Pill app. I haven't had any sort of success with it, but within our Living in the Future community, that's what I would point to. Because there's a level of trust there already. There's people who have been there for 6 months now. They know each other. Somebody says something stupid, they get called out for it. Somebody needs help, they get help. And you want to do that today. You don't want to wait for everything to play out and then you're the guy or girl trying to start relationships at that time. So get into it now. Take this stuff seriously, because the opportunities are going to be there. You just have to put yourself in the positions where you can find them. And you have to build that. You have to go through the proof of work, build that up to have people who are going to be reaching out to you when that time comes. So I very much apologize for I'm about 100 comments behind here. I don't know what to do about that. But what I will say is, if you're wanting to catch the second part of the show, it's going to be kind of short, but just join. Even if you're not going to watch the end of the show today, join the network, start positioning yourself, and be ready for these opportunities, because they are coming. So Bitcoin Journeyman, that's a YouTube option. You're going to get every full show. That's going to, grow your Bitcoin knowledge. But if you want to be part of this whole thing, if you want to be on the wave that's rising with Bitcoin, if you want to have a piece of that, join the network. Join some sort of network. I would suggest Living the Future. You just go to the show notes. The second one down says Living the Future. Join there. You get added to the Signal chat, which is kind of like a live, this just happened. What's going on? Or immediate help. I'm doing this. Can somebody help me? And then there's the Discord channel where we kind of just store our resources. So there's a whole bunch of different subset channels in there. I'll maybe just read some out here. I don't think the group will care very much, but this is kind of like the structure of the Discord. And big shout out to AD for building this, because it's pretty very useful and valuable. So there's Nostr Connect, where everybody has their npubs in there. Everybody can follow each other. Any requests, like if you're trying to promote something and you want people to help you out with it, you can say, please share this post, or if anybody shares this, I'll zap you 1,000 sats. There's Bitcoin General, Bitcoin Mining, Bitcoin Walls, Bitcoin Nodes, Bitcoin Help, Lightning, OPSEC for privacy, resources. We got introductions where everybody gives a bit of a background on themselves. Business and finance, entrepreneurship, ideas, healthy living, book club, programming, the arts, memes, quotes, music, feedback. So take this stuff seriously. You have to be right now. If that's what you want, it's there. It's already built. It's waiting for people like you who are watching the show. That's what it is. It's just a bunch of people who are working towards one common goal, trying to get through this whole thing together without too much pain, but also looking for the opportunities and understanding what's coming here in Bitcoin. So that's what I challenge you for today.